Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today what I'm going to do is take the length down of my nails, take the design down so that I can prepare them for a redesign. So here I'm just taking a pair, I think these are toenail clippers or something like that, but this is all I use them for. What you do is you just get the side where you want to roughly take them down to, just a small bit, and then snip, and hopefully they fracture all the way across. This one is being a pain, so I try the other side and ping, look, whoosh, off it goes. So we'll do this one, just fracture the side, and hopefully it just cracks all the way along so you can just take that off. My son is always moaning at me because that always just goes ping, and I feel like sometimes I should give him a crash helmet. I secretly love it when it goes pinging across the floor because it keeps the kids entertained for ages, looking for the bits that have sprung off the end of my nail. Okay, so here we go, the thumb. Now, the thumb had a really nice C-curve on it, so I think this is why it sort of went up the way a little bit. So I'll just keep snipping until I've got enough. Obviously, it's just so as I don't have to waste too much time using my efile taking the design off, because that bit's not going to be there anyway. So there we go. So now I'll take my trusty cuckoo, change the bit. This efile is really reasonable. It's a really good piece of kit. I use it all the time, and it's not like the ones that cost hundreds of pounds. I'm sure this one's about 75 maybe, and they sell the bits as well. So here I've got a coarse ceramic cone bit, and I put it on at quite high speed. I know people don't think that that's what you should be doing. Some people do. I find that I get much less friction when I've got it on a really high speed. So I just whiz all the way down, taking off that design, down to my clear layer. Now this is why I do a clear layer before I put my design on. That way I don't have to do a complete removal and then soak off the excess acrylic and reapply tips for a redesign. I just whiz it off until I get down to that clear layer. So there we go, see those flowers disappearing. Whiz, whiz, whiz. That's it. Now, once you start to see that clearly, you've got to just be careful because it is thin. All that's there really is your tip. And on your nail bed itself is, you've got to be careful so that you don't go through the clear layer and then start buzzing off your natural nail. That would just be, sore. So, here we go. Just down that side. Just take off as much as you can with this bit. If you're efile trained, obviously. Watching a YouTube video does not make you efile trained. So I've just sped the rest up because it's just the same thing. But I like to leave it in because I find it really satisfying. So I'll just let you watch. So here we are, nearly finished. Just getting the last little bits of that white. Now, just rub off a little bit of the dust. There's loads of it, can't be helped. This is just an extractor from Amazon. I think it costs £40. It's not amazing, but it does me fine. So I've changed the bit in my Cuticle to a medium carbide safety bit. Now what I do here is I have it not on a really high speed as the last bit. I put it up just a medium speed, somewhere in between, and I run round the sides just to, if there's any lifting, this is where I would get it off with my efile. If you go using cuticle nippers and just pick, you'll end up with no clear layer left at all. So I use this, and this just takes off any excess design that I've got that I didn't want to go too close to the bone with my extra coarse bit. So these nails aren't actually that old, so there's still quite a lot of acrylic right up at that cuticle that I didn't want to use my extra coarse bit for. So I'll use this bit, that way I don't go cutting into my finger. So yeah, you can see there's still some white, and I'll show you, I'll explain why I've taken these off and shortened them. So, in a little bit. So yeah, see there's white right up there, and because this is a round head bit, that's a safety bit, I'm not going to cut myself. So I just whiz over where there's any design left. I love this little bit, it's my fave. Here we go, just trying to get as much white off as possible. I'm not going to stress too much about the white on the edges of the free edge there, because I'm going to snip them off to make an almond shape, because that's my favourite. So right round the cuticle, there's no lifting, it's just little bits of white that's left. So there we go. And just a final check over, trying to get right in there. Whiz. Oh yeah, there's still a tiny little bit of white there that I'm going to try and get. That's it. There we are. Now see down there, the acrylic nail has lifted my natural nail from the enhancement. So I've just taken this little cuticle pusher. I got it as a freebie from Model 1s when I last made an order. I got quite a few things free actually, it was great. The delivery is from America, but I'm sure it only took about a week, so it was fine. And they're really reasonable. And from what I've used of their products, they're really quite good. So yeah, just pushing back that cuticle. There we go, scraping that off. Now we'll change this bit again to my favourite little cuticle bit. What this does, it just whizzes off all the guff, all the dead skin from your nail plate, because if that's all left, that's why you'll get lifting. That's why your enhancement won't last as long, and it'll just start letting water in, and it'll get worse and worse until it just pings off. So I just go down one side, keeping my efile as flat as possible to the nail so that we don't end up with a ring of fire. According to my husband, that's something completely different. Okay, so right round that one side of each of the nail, getting rid of all the stuff. So turn it off, change direction, back on again, and go around the other side. I think I still had little bits of acrylic left here that I'm just trying to buzz off, because I'm going to rebalance these nails ready for a new design. So I'm going to just try and get down to the bare nail. And this is really blunt, this bit. I've been using this for ages. I have got another one, but I just can't bear to part with this one. So yeah, take all that stuff off. Now I'm going to just change it for a little sanding band. This is a blunt one. Now, although I know there's a lot of controversy about, oh, don't use this on your natural nail, but personally, I feel I have a lighter touch using this rather than an actual nail file. And I can get right into the corners because it is exactly the right shape that you need to go round that cuticle area. So this is what I do to just take off the shine from your natural nail, ready for your enhancement. So just right round each one, and it just whizzes off all that dead skin that you have removed with your cuticle bit and your cuticle pusher. So right round, tickle tickle, really light touch, efile's on really low. I think that was a little bit more acrylic there. And there we go. So just wipe off some of that dust. And get my Storky boys. And I just, oh sorry, I just got a notification from my daughter's teacher there. Excuse me. So yeah, I just take my stork scissors and I take off the edges because it just saves time in filing, because I know I'm going to be taking those bits off anyway. So just do that with each of the nails, checking with my other hand just to make sure the lengths and shapes are roughly the same. Now I'm not sure if you can hear in the background, I got my youngest down beside me, Trudy. That's why I'm trying not to be Miss Pottymouth of the century. And her tablet is on the go. So you can probably hear that as well. It's Adley, if you're interested. She's obsessed with her. So yeah, here we are. Just checking it, just to see if the lengths are matching. Save time in filing. There we go. Now, my nail file that I use for shaping the edges all the time is my Nail Mate. And this is from Glitter Planet. This is a metal filing board. And you just buy the refills for each side. What I've got is a 180 and a 100 grit. Now, I've got the 100 grit for this because it is a layer of acrylic and a tip. So, the 100 grit is a bit rougher than the 180. The lower the number, the rougher the nail file. So I just go around until I'm happy with the shape, checking it against the other hand. I'm not going to be completely pedantic about it because obviously once I've done the design, I'll be filing and reshaping again anyway. So it's just to make sure that it's roughly the same kind of width and shape and length. There we are. I'll just let you watch. Now, I'm trying to be really careful with this one because this is the one that has kind of pulled away from the nail bed. It's my natural nail that's come away from the nail bed. It's not the acrylic nail. So I'm going to just rebalance it and that will just give it extra strength. And it's my own fault really because I found a gap and I thought, oh, look at this. I'll just keep prodding my finger down that. And I've made it worse and worse and worse. So basically, oh, sorry, another notification. The lesson here is, do as I say, not as I do. Because Stephanie is a numpty. So there we go, just checking all angles, just to make sure they're not all wonky. Oh, on the other thumb there, I found a kind of thin bit, so I'll go over that again when I'm doing the acrylic, the thin layer, to fill in the free edge that's just natural nail now. So yeah, nearly finished. These metal files are brilliant because there's no flex to them, so you get a really, really precise shape. They're brilliant. So yeah, checking it that way, because it can look completely different the other way around like that to when it's facing you. So I've got to check it from all angles. So I think I'm happy with those. Oh, sorry, I found a wee bit here. So I just give it a little scrub down, get some of the dust away. These wee brushes are really cheap and they're really good, and I wash them all the time and sterilise them, and they'll last for ages. So these are my Nailmate cuticle nippers. They're just like a pair of scissors. They've not got the spring bit in the middle, and I feel I've got a lot more control over them. I love them, and they're nice and sharp because they're nice and new. So cuticle nipping used to give me the fear, and sometimes I just didn't do it, but I don't really want all that, want a better word, skin on my photo when I'm finished. I just think it just looks messy and yucky. So the best advice that I ever got for cuticle nipping was to pull the skin away from the nail to expose the dead cuticle that you didn't get with your other bits on your efile, and just snip it off carefully, not going too far, and you can just get all that dead skin without cutting yourself. So another little scrub down. I'm just going to try and shove some of the dust out the road. There's a lot of it. So I've got my Nails Nail Prep Dehydrator. So this just dries out the nail from any natural oil that might be there. So I just go around the exposed natural nail down at the bottom. And now we're using the Nails Ultra Bond Acid Primer. I noticed a huge difference when I changed to this primer. I can't remember what I was using beforehand, but I think this one is brilliant. It just prepares your natural nail for the acrylic. The adhesion on it is superb. It's so good. So try and just let that dry for a minute. Get a little bit of kitchen towel. There's my CJP Crystal Glass Clear acrylic powder. And I've got a little jar there of Ultra Adhesive by CJP. And there's my big boy brush, again by CJP. So just give it a little squash down, and I'm going to just start off at the cuticle area, and I'll go over that little bit as well that I found. And I just swipe it down to give me another clear layer, so that if my nails survive, hopefully, I can just do the same again without having to do a complete removal. So just swiping down the natural enhancement there. Natural enhancement? What are you talking about, Steph? So starting at the cuticle, swiping down your clear layer just to blend it all together. Now it's still really thin, you're not going to end up with really bulky nails. Goodness me, there is another notification from my daughter's teacher. I can't keep up with her. Is everybody managing with the homeschooling? I spoke to my daughter's head teacher yesterday, and she was so nice, and she said not to be stressing about things, and if there's an assignment or work that's not done, don't worry about going back and trying to catch up. She understands that we're not teachers and the environment is completely different. So basically everybody, just do what you can. We're not teachers. Well, I'm sure some of you are, but I certainly am not a teacher. So we just do what we can. And they're happy with that. So there we go. Just another little blob of acrylic just popping on there. Not super wet because you don't want it running all over the place. But with acrylic nails, or with any acrylic, you need to really have your fingers pointing down the way. That way it's not going to flood back into the cuticle, it's going to come down if it is going to run anywhere. So you can see it's still really thin. And I'm taking extra care with this one because this is the one that is pulled away from the nail bed. So I want to just make sure it's extra secure. So here we go, onto the thumb, right round, and blended all the way down here. That's it. Listen to this tablet, my God, it's so loud. Here we are. I tried to do this voiceover. I tried to sneak downstairs and do it before anybody was up, but that didn't happen. So now everybody's got to listen to what my daughter listens to. So yeah, I'll stick another little bit there because I noticed it was really thin. And I did these last night, and I've not done the design. So obviously these nails are really thin and I don't want them to snap through the night before I do the design today, which I will record for you guys as well. So there we have it, all ready to go for a new design. Thanks so much for watching. Take good care, be safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.